While we fighting, it's over now.
Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and I hate doing these sit downs, but I had to do it because thanks to school for assigning me 2 1,000+ word essays within a week, and I'm working on both of them right now. As you can see, my laptop is blinding me off to the side. I meant to turn it, but I forgot to do that before I started recording. But instead of doing the usual, oh, this is what I have coming soon, I decided, why not do something that's kind of a precursor to the 400 subscriber special that I'm going to begin working on very soon, as we are creeping up on 400 subscribers fast. And my plan is to go ahead and finish this video as soon as I can. That way when we hit 400 subs, I can literally just upload that video same day. And basically, what I'm going to do for that, I have 2 video ideas. Both of them will happen around the same time. One will happen the day we hit 400 subscribers, and the other will happen in the coming days after we hit 400 subscribers. The first one, which will hit on the 400 subscriber day, as long as my plan goes accordingly, will be a build montage of the entire life of the sport track from 2016 to now. And the other video will be a Q&A video, which I will announce as well on the day we hit, around the time we hit 400 subs. And that'll be something we'll do later on. I'll announce all the stuff for that at a later date. But as a precursor to the main 400 sub video, which is the build montage history of the sport track, we're going to do a history of roast tires. And this is going to be a bit longer due to the fact that this is going back 2 farther years in the past in the sport track's history. For those of you guys who don't know, I've been on YouTube for nearly 4 years. I've been doing this since 2014. December, I believe December 18th of 2014. I have to look again on the channel, as it does say that in the About section, how long I've been here. The sport track didn't really become a part until 2016, so we'll get more into that later. But we're going to start off with what basically inspired the YouTube channel. 2013, late 2013, early 2014, I became interested in the idea of creating a YouTube channel because I was watching content creators such as Vanos and Nogla and all of those guys playing Call of Duty. This was around the time that I was even remotely interested in COD, as I still to this day don't like FPS games. I prefer to stick to platformers and to racing games. Those are kind of like, and sports games. Those are kind of like my niche when it comes to video games. I usually try to stick away from COD and stuff like that. The only exception that I've ruled really has been Pokemon. That's because that's an RPG. But anyway, that's later. But I got the idea in I really wanted to put the idea to fruition in 2014, and that's where the initial, I guess you could say, concept phase of the YouTube channel began, was mid-2014. And that was, of course, I couldn't decide on the name. I decided later on just go with Adamson 1, which a lot of you guys don't remember that name. And if you go far enough back in the channel several years ago, you'll find videos where I used the intros and all that stuff with that channel name. And the reason for that name pick was based off of my PlayStation username that I still continue to use to this day. I don't play a lot of PlayStation in general. In fact, the only consoles that I've really messed with recently, as a lot of you guys know, is my Nintendo Entertainment System and my Switch. Besides that, I'm usually on PC for the majority of my gaming now. My Xbox One and my PS4, well, the PS4 I partially own, the Xbox One I entirely own. They've both been collecting dust, but again, that's somewhat off topic. But originally my parents were not big on the idea of having a YouTube channel. At the time, I was 14, 15 years old, and obviously I was living under my parents' roof, and to this day I still respect what they want me to do. So usually I'll still ask them before I do something anyway. But back then, I basically lived off of permission to do anything. And one of those things was permission to have a YouTube channel. And the problem was my parents did not know there was such thing as privating comments, where not privating comments, but turning off comments on videos. And that was completely new information to my parents whenever I explained to them that was possible. And eventually what happened is I decided to do a test run of a couple videos in late 2014 to kind of not only start the channel off, but to kind of show, just to kind of test the waters. And the way I did that, it was I believe I originally left comments open on a lot of the videos. Basically I started off with 2 Pokemon Alpha Sapphire videos because that was what I had at the time, as well as a couple of Mortal Kombat videos. None of these are actually able to be seen anymore. These were long removed completely from the channel years ago. Back about January 2015. And it wasn't until about May of 2015 that we got the green light, me and my little brother, that's why I said we, for him to start his YouTube channel and for me to reboot mine. And my little brother had actually known about that Adamson one actually existed. He was one of very few people I told about the channel existing at the time. Where we got the green light to go ahead and start the channels back. And basically this point is when I started releasing content such as VGC Academy. A lot of you guys who have been long-time subscribers might remember that when I would release those 6 videos a day kind of deal. I would literally film VGC Academy after VGC Academy and upload them all in one day, and because I had the time to. And literally I did not know much about editing. I always thought that during that time period, the more videos I released, the faster I'd grow. Obviously, that's not the case, as I release 3 videos a week now, and I'm gaining a lot more subscribers than I did back then. I tried venturing out a lot when it came to what games I would play on camera. I played a lot of varying titles. I did Pokemon, I did The Crew, because that was another game I was very into at the time. I did a lot of Gran Turismo content for a little while, and went to Mortal Kombat and stuff like that, games that I loved around that time. But my plan was to stick with Pokemon as long as I could and become a Pokemon YouTuber. Now the problem is the Pokemon YouTuber community is very, very saturated. And eventually I started to get the idea maybe I can't get into this one because this was to be a strict Pokemon YouTuber only, because this market is heavily saturated with other people doing the same thing. So I eventually gave up on being a straight Pokemon only YouTuber, which is what kicked off that initial branch out to other games. We'll say near the end of 2015, I released a couple of major videos that would really affect the YouTube channel aggressively. The first of which was the Crew Street Spec video. This video is to this day one of the highest ranking videos on my channel. And then I think it may have still been 2006. Yeah, it was about the beginning maybe the middle of 2016, which I'll go into a little bit later. And another big heavy hitting video. But the Crew Top 10 series was a once a year project I would do, as it took me the longest out of all the videos I do the time to edit, which is nothing compared to some of the videos I've edited today, such as just my 20-second intro, which a lot of people think is long. It took me 10 times more time to edit versus the Crew Top 10 videos. Those were just simply putting clips together, deciding which cars I wanted to be wearing, doing a voiceover, and it was done. My intro took hours to edit because it was lots of footage, lots of filtering, lots of zooms and music cuts and all that stuff. But anyway, 2016, the channel changed for the better, and probably one of the most drastic changes to this channel happened on February 3rd, I want to say, of 2016. And that is when my 2003 Explorer Sport Track was introduced to the channel. And the video that I did in it was filmed in vertical because I never vlogged up to that point. This was one of my very first videos that I'd done with filming instead of gaming content, filming a vlog. And I had done a car video in the past, one car video, which was Adamson one's first car, and this was back in 2015, so I'm going back a little bit, and that was actually the Kia's unveiling. Granted, nothing happened with it. A lot of you guys know the car had that one video and then vanished for almost 3 years on the channel. It would appear in the background of videos a lot. It still does to this day. And people ask me about it every chance they get. When I first started going to Boosted Mafia, I got asked a lot about the Kia. And I'm not upset about it because I understand, because that car sat there in the background with no context forever. But anyway, 2016, February 3rd, February 5th, somewhere in that time zone, the Sport Track was introduced to the channel. And originally, I didn't plan on doing much with it. I planned on driving it to the ground and then buying something faster. But of course, in late 2016, at this point, the channel had been rebranded the first time to Gearhead Gamer around the middle of the year. And this was because at the time I was butthurt over some jokes made about the Adamson 1 name. People were calling me Adamson all the time, and for some reason that bothered me really bad, so I changed the name to Gearhead Gamer. And eventually I decided not to revert back to Adamson 1, but the problem I was having at this point with the name change, Gearhead Gamer was extremely common. So I decided at this point maybe I should look into something that's a bit unique that will only show my videos if you look it up, versus another channel that was also called Gearhead Gamer at the time. So I was thinking one day, I sat down with myself and I was thinking of car puns that I could come up with, or things that people say about cars that I could turn into something that was spelled awkward, where no one could actually search it and find a bunch of other channels. And this is a problem that that Kaysen has with his channel, and I'm not calling him out to hate on him or anything. I'm literally just pointing this out about his channel. When you search MG Productions, there's 8,000 MG Productions. With Roast Tires, you type it the way that I have it spelled, I'm the only one that shows up. And that was my choice. I decided to go with Roast Tires. At the time, I was really big into the burnout culture. I loved watching them. I was like, oh my gosh, burnouts are the best thing ever. And one of the common puns for them, I guess you call them, was Roast Tires. So I was like, why not? And then I thought in my head of ways I could spell it to where no one else would. It's a hassle whenever people ask me to plug my YouTube channel, and I always have to spell it out. But it's worth it in the long run because I'm the only one that shows up. So 2016, about near the end of the year, I rebranded the channel the second time in the year and changed it to Roast Tires, which is where it's been since. And originally the channel colors went from orange and black to blue and black to black on silver. And now the channel doesn't have any organized colors. They always just revolve around the truck. 2017 was probably it was the worst year of my life in a sense, but it was also one of the biggest years for growth on this channel. In 2017, we had a lot of negatives and a lot of positives. I guess to cover the negatives first, I did lose my grandmother to breast cancer, which did affect my entire life and is still to this day heavily affecting it. But it allowed me to meet a fellow YouTuber known by Bullet Train. And this was probably one of my very first YouTuber friends I made. I've made quite a few since, and Bullet Train was the very first. And basically I was talking about the video, giving updates sporadically on what was going on with my grandmother at the time. And then the night before she passed away, I released a really quick video saying that she had days to live, and just to, keep us in your thoughts, my family at the time. And Bullet Train found it, and we began a friendship from there. We collabed a few times on Gran Turismo 6, and we did several videos on his channel, several on mine, before he inevitably quit uploading for now, and I kind of shied away from gaming. We also began the initial mods on the Sport Track, which will be covered more in depth in the build history video, not the build history, but the build montage. I'm not calling it a build history because I've already done 2 build history videos. I'm gonna really just stick to a montage on it. But anyway, when it came down to the very first mods were ordered, the taillights and the radio and the headlights, stuff like that. Those were the very first mods, and this was around the time where not only did one of my bestest friends, Michael, convince me to take the truck and turn it into something special, as he was doing the same with, at the time, his Jeep Grand Cherokee, and he will probably say the same thing. If it weren't for those 2 cars, the truck and the Grand Cherokee, neither of us would probably be the same person we are today. It was my interest in building something different that got Michael big into cars. He had a slight interest in them at the time, but that sent him over the edge. And he became this big car fanatic, and sometimes even his knowledge outweighs mine. And we have the truck and the Jeep to thank for that. And it was at this point where I was questioning it. I was like, maybe I should trade it in and find something different. And Michael just told me, hey, why don't you just make something special? And I thought to myself, why not? And so the build was born at this point. And so those 3 mods came in, and then I got the mod bug bad. I started buying stuff left and right for that truck. And, you know, even to this day, I'm pretty bad about it. I've bought a lot of stuff for that truck. And am I like ashamed of it? No, not at all. Because it's my hobby. It's all I have to put money towards right now, minus my game collection. And I don't have a girlfriend or anything to put money towards. And, you know, that's that. I mean, I literally just have empty space to put money at right now. Anyway, mid to late 2017, the original friend group was forming, and by original I mean the first few members of the friend group. A lot of you guys remember Kaizen's introduction of Caffeine Octane Vlog 9, and probably a huge one about Octoberish, Novemberish, was Hayden and Jake, and those two were kind of like the random appearance kind of thing. They came out of nowhere. We met them at the Mega Meet. Me and Michael didn't talk to them too much, but Kaysen really was talking to them a lot. And then we started talking to them more and more. And it wasn't until the video where we had the run-in with the cops that after Adamson Mafia, where Hayden had gotten in trouble, that we really became a group of friends, and we hung out all the time. And eventually what happened in late 2017 was me and Hayden began hanging out, just me and him. Me, him, and Michael, me, him, and Kaysen, me and him alone. I mean, we literally just started hanging out like crazy. A crucial video came out, I believe it was February or March of this year, maybe even January. I have to look it up. And this was another big one where it was me and Hayden were just starting to hang out more, and that was the driving stick video. And I will reference this video 1,000 times because it was just such a big moment in the channel's history, as it was Hayden's official debut on the channel, as he had been in the background of quite a lot of videos. And it turns out, he was telling me this, before he became friends with us, he was actually a subscriber. So Hayden is one of the very few, there's quite a few of you guys, I think about 2 or 3 of you guys, that went from subscribers to real life friends. There's a guy that I've talked to, Caffeine Octane, a couple times. I don't know his actual name, but I know he drives this old Volvo, and he's probably smiling right now that I'm even bringing him up. We've talked to him a few times. You know, he's a really cool dude. You know, I've met a few of you guys in person, and that just warms my heart. And you know, I just got a message a couple hours ago on Instagram, and that also, you know, getting messages from you guys and getting support comments on stuff means the world to me. It means a lot more to me than you think. And at my current subscriber size, it's so easy for me to actually conversate with you guys, and I love doing that with you guys. I will try my best to message. If you guys message me, I will try to engage in a conversation as quickly as I can. But anyway, the stick video was just a big, crucial moment, as it was Hayden's official introduction to the channel. And as you guys know, him and Michael, I spend the most time with anyone lately. I spend more time with them than I do even my own family sometimes. And it was a very big moment for the channel because I learned how to drive stick a little bit more. It was a fun video to make because it was just me failing for 20 minutes. And it was just an absolute blast. And it was Hayden's introduction, and it was just amazing of a video. And then, you know, we had the misfire, which was a big thing that happened this year because it took me so long to figure out what was going on and fix it. Originally, we've replaced the ignition coil, which fixed it for the most part. It was about 90% fixed at this point. But we were still having idling issues, and it was just enough to kick the light on. And we found out that it was a vacuum leak caused by my air filter. So we replaced it recently, in a video recently, and that's fun. And then, of course, we had, you know, quite a lot of Caffeine and Octane vlogs. These are my favorite ones to edit because I love going to the event, and spending time with my friends is probably my favorite thing to do. You know, I could sit at home and play The Legend of Zelda or play Grand Theft Auto 5 or Need for Speed Underground 2 all day. And I mean, I'd enjoy myself, but I spend, when I'm with my friends, for example, on Fridays or Adamson Mafia, I'm at my happiest, you know. But we've also had the Import Alliance video, which was one of my favorites of the year. It was my longest video I've ever uploaded. I've uploaded a lot of long videos, trust me, but that was by far the longest, and it was my favorite of the year so far. With the exception of the driving stick video. I think the driving stick video is just a notch above it. But anyway, and then we're here today. We're here. I left my first job after about 2 months. You know, I've accomplished another dream of mine, which is to collect old video games. And I'm in the middle of my first semester, my sophomore year. So it's just been a long grind, and I can't thank you guys enough for the support on this channel for the last forever. And it means the world to me, like I was saying. Anyway, guys, that'll wrap it up. This has been the history of roast tires from 2014 to 2018. And yeah, I'll see you guys on Saturday with the new Boosted Mafia vlog.